Welcome to Frost Over the World. Later in the programme, Jean-Claude Juncker, Prime Minister of Luxembourg and Chairman of the Euro Group. He reflects on the all-night negotiations earlier this week, which led to the second Greek bailout. Question now, will it hold? Will it last? Plus, we've got the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, the delightful Foreign Minister, who's here on her country's relationship with the US on the one hand, and the Taliban. She'll be talking about all of those issues while she's here in London. But we begin with Somalia. This week, politicians and thinkers from all corners of the globe have been assembling here in London for a conference to try and plot a way forward for a country so beset by dangers. Famine, civil war, pirates, and a terrorist insurgency have all combined to make Somalia, and even its capital Mogadishu, practically ungovernable. Last year saw a new temporary government installed under the noted economist Abdiweli Mohamed Ali, who was tasked with making the state governable again. His tenure is due to end in August. It sounds an impossible task, but he's here now to talk to us ahead of the conference to tell us what he thinks is the international help that Somalia needs and how it can get it. He says there's been progress. Here he is.
We Somalis expect a lot. The expectation of Somalis on this conference is very high. Somalia is changing. Somalia is taking a different direction. Somalia is moving from the era of warlordism, poverty, lawlessness, chaos, and violence, and recently religious extremism. And we are moving to an era of peace, tranquility, and statehood. So therefore, we expect this conference to galvanize the international support for Somalia, to galvanize international support for the peace process.
Because the things you just listed can only be achieved with help from the world, with help from other countries.
Absolutely. The Somali problem is no more unique to Somalia, and it's not confined to the borders of Somalia. The issue of piracy, the issue of terrorism, the issue of religious extremism, the issue of environmental destruction, famine, all these are regional issues. They are global issues. So they have to be addressed regionally, and they have to be addressed globally. And that's why we're having this important and unique conference on Somalia tomorrow in London.
And in terms of the two forces, Al-Shabaab and the pirates, they are completely separate threats to Somalia. Are they separate threats?
They are separate threats, but at the same time, we cannot discount that they may have a working relationship, and they might be learning from each other. Both of them are a menace. For example, piracy is a menace to the global trade. It's a menace to the 20,000 ships sailing off the coast of Somalia every year. But we have to understand the biggest victims of piracy are Somalis, for example. And to address the piracy issue, the solution lies inland. The cause of piracy is lawlessness and poverty. And to solve this piracy issue long term, we have to address the underlying issue, which are lawlessness and poverty. The same thing for extremism and the issue of Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
So, but both of them, they are a menace, they are a threat to world stability, to global trade, and to the safety and security of the Somalis in particular.
Were Al-Shabaab invited to this conference or not, because everybody knew they wouldn't come?
Unfortunately, there's no more Al-Shabaab in Somalia. We have Al-Qaeda in Somalia. They now part and parcel of Al-Qaeda. And obviously, we cannot invite Al-Qaeda to the conference. But before they join ranks with Al-Qaeda, we tried to sit down with them to talk to them if they renounce violence. We, the government of Somalia, believe that we cannot reach peace through violence. But at the same time, we have to make sure, deny others, make sure to deny others, to reach their political ends through violence. So therefore, those elements, moderate elements in Al-Shabaab, who were willing to talk to us, who were willing to renounce violence, we will try to bring them on board. But those who resort to violence, those who are not changing their old ways, we have to fight them. We have no choice but to do so.
And there's a headline in The Guardian today, which you'll doubtless have seen,
Sure.
which says UK weighs up strikes against Somalia rebels. Exclusive war games drawn up for air raids on pirates and insurgents. Do you welcome that news or not?
Look, the UK and other international partners, we have a common enemy. And we should have common strategy. And that common enemy is Al-Qaeda in Somalia and, for example, pirates. But with the government of Somalia, we have the responsibility for the safety and security of the Somali people. So airstrikes, targeted airstrikes against Al-Qaeda, we welcome. But at the same time, we have to make sure to protect the lives and properties of the Somali people.
Because there is a danger that the bombs might go astray.
Of course, there's a possibility that innocent people might be hurt. So therefore, we have to make sure that these air strikes are done against targets of Al-Qaeda. So targeted airstrikes.
Targeted airstrikes.
Yes.
And well, would you prefer, in that case, because of the danger of the bombs going astray,
Yeah.
would you prefer the phrase that the Americans use and the British sometimes use? Would you prefer boots on the ground, or would that be only inflaming the situation?
No, boots of the ground. We have enough boots on the ground. We have a very brave Somali soldiers. We also have our AMISOM brothers, the African mission in Somalia. We have also support of our neighbors, Kenya and Ethiopia. So we have enough to take care of Al-Shabaab. We don't need enough and more boots from Britain or from the UK or from USA. We have enough of that, but we need support. Let me take this opportunity to say this. The long-term security solution for Somalia lies with the building a robust Somali National Army, building a robust Somali National Police Force, building a robust Somali Coast Guard. That's where the solution lies. So in the short and immediate term, we might need, for example, the help of our AMISOM brothers and also the help of our neighbors. But in the long term, the international community should help us bring law and order to Somalia through building the law enforcement institutions in Somalia, such as the military and the police force.
Yes, because there are also rumours today of an African Union mission of Kenyans, mainly 4,500 from the African Union to help your cause. Yeah, that would be boots on the ground.
Of course, they are already there in the southern part of the country. Yeah. We welcome their intervention in the southern part of the country, and they are a part of the AMISOM that we're talking about, the African mission in Somalia. And so we welcome them, and we are grateful for their sacrifice and for their support.
Right.
But the lead in this liberation that takes place in Somalia, our Somali National Force are taking the lead.
Right.
The Kenyans and the Ethiopians and the others are taking a very supportive role in terms of logistics, training, and the other help that we might need.
And how much of Somalia, as of today, as we speak now, is under the government's control?
I can pretty much say that 70% of the landmass in Somalia is either under the control of the TFG or supportive administrations of the TFG. The Al-Qaeda affiliated group of Al-Shabaab, they occupy few states in the south, but surely but slowly we are getting rid of them, and now we have gained captured a large swath of land in the Jubbas, in the deep south, in southwest, in Gado area, and now within the next few days, Bay and Bakol area. So we are surely but slowly extending the safety zone from Mogadishu to other parts of the country.
And how much, I remember it wasn't a great deal, but when we met your colleagues in New York, today, how much of Mogadishu is in government control and how much in rebel control?
100% of the capital of Mogadishu is under the government control. We got rid of Shabab from Mogadishu in August 2011. So since then, 100% of the capital city is safe and secure. Today, our capital city is bustling with business. People are getting back to their normal lives, and they're conducting businesses. And surely but slowly, the city is becoming normal.
And what would be the real signal of success? When would you realize that you had control and you had success?
Three things. Number one, the security of the country is fastly improving. We are making a milestone achievements day after day. The capital city of Somalia is secure. We are now extending the safety zone to the central part of the country, to the southern part of the country, and we are gaining grounds in these areas. We are also have a roadmap that will take us to the next level, that will usher a new era of peace and stability in Somalia. We are writing a new constitution for Somalia. We are reconciling communities. We have a political outreach to other stakeholders of Somalia. And I just came back from a huge conference in Puntland, Garowe, in the northern part of the country, whereby we charted our political future, the system of governance we're going to use, a constitution for Somalia, and also a new parliament that will be in place come August 2012. So in August 2012, where we will end the transitional government and we will get into a permanent governance, we will have a new government, we will have a new parliament, we will have a new constitution, and we have Somalia safe and secure from the vestiges of civil war and lawlessness and chaos.
And will you be a part of that new government? Will you stand for office again when there's a new government? Will you stay or will you go back to America?
At this moment, I have one job to do, and is to take Somalia to the next level, to take Somalia from the endless transitions we have been since 2000, to take Somalia where the Somali people can live in peace and tranquility, where we will have a new and better political dispensation. So I'm committed implementing this roadmap, and then later on I will decide what I will do.
You wouldn't leave until you felt the battle was won?
No, my mandate, my term ends in August 2012.
Right.
And I want to make sure by August 2012 we have to achieve all these benchmarks, whereby we're going to have Somalia secure and safe from Shabab and from other enemies, like such as piracy, where we have a new era of peace and tranquility, where we have a new political dispensation, such as a new parliament, a new constitution, and a new governance structures in August 2012. So the next few months will be very important for Somalia. It will be very important for the political history of Somalia. And therefore, I have to concentrate doing these tasks. The tasks are many. The term and the time is very short, and with very little resources to do all those things. So I'm focused now doing those things.
Yes, and in fact, just putting that list of the three things you want to achieve, I mean, it would be a great achievement to achieve them by August or even at any time this year, wouldn't it?
Of course, it's a huge challenge. As I said, time is short, tasks are many, resources are very limited, but it is a responsibility. It is a generational responsibility to step up to the plate and do it. And with the help of the international community, we will succeed and we will reach there.
Well, thank you very much for being with us. And when you list all those things you've got to do, we must let you go and do them.
Thank you,
There's
David.
plenty to do. Yes?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
And vice versa. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, my thanks there to the Prime Minister of Somalia, dynamic figure. With a 130 billion euro bailout deal agreed on Tuesday morning, this week has seen a historic moment in European negotiations. But just how many more historic moments will there have to be before financial stability in the Eurozone is secured, if ever? Among European officials and ministers, there was a huge sigh of relief this week. Greece has, for the moment, been taken off the critical list. But it comes at a price, and many are asking if it's worth it. I'm joined now by Jean-Claude Juncker, Prime Minister of Luxembourg and the current head of the Eurogroup. Prime Minister, the President of the European Commission, Mr. Barroso, says that this agreement, quote, closes the door to an uncontrolled default by Greece. Do you agree with that?
I agree basically with what the President of the Commission was expressing as being the view of the Commission. The decision we have made earlier this week paves the way for a restoring of the Greek competitiveness and makes it sure that Greece will not run out of money. It was time for us to take the decision we have taken because Greece was seriously facing a default in March. Now this perspective has disappeared.
With private creditors taking a haircut of 53%, will any private source of finance ever lend to Greece again?
I think so. First, we made it clear that Greece being a unique case, a private sector involvement will not be undertaken in other countries of the euro area. And as the private sector and the official sector now can envisage the Greek future and the future of the euro area with some optimism, I don't believe that private sector representatives will step away from Greece. I do think that now there is we have reached a situation where private creditors can assume some more risks in Greece.
And this, Prime Minister, is the second bailout of Greece. How do we know there won't be a third?
You cannot really exclude that, although we should not have as a starting assumption that a third program there will be. This is the second program after the one we have concluded in previous years. If Greece is implementing all the measures, we are asking Greece to implement measures they agree upon, Greece will restore in a longer moment of time its competitiveness, which has suffered a lot since Greece gained access to the euro area. The public finances will be in far better shape in some years from now. But we have to make sure, and this is a precondition for the International Monetary Fund, that on the medium term the Greek financial situation will be a sustainable one. We made it clear last Tuesday in Brussels that we are standing ready to support Greece even beyond the time period of this program, but I have good reasons to believe that we should now not engage ourselves in a debate on a maybe third program. We should now, as have the Greeks implement the second one.
Do you think the world's markets have responded as you would have expected or hoped?
We were not really rejoicing when we were concluding the deal. Nobody was dancing on the table. It was too simply the job we had to deliver in order to restore stability in Greece and credibility around Greece. Financial markets did react in a proper way, although it was not my first concern to have the financial markets reacting in a proper and fair way. And by the way, I do believe that financial markets had priced in a positive response. Finance Minister of the Euro area would give to Greece. But things have improved, and I'm quite satisfied with the worldwide reactions to this. I have noted that in the US, that in the UK, and elsewhere, there is an atmosphere of relief since we were able to table the deal.
And what do you say to the argument that some critics have made who think that Greece is too far gone, default is inevitable, and that it would be better to spend the money on countries that can be saved, such as Ireland or Portugal?
We have a program which is developing in a satisfactory manner in Greece, in Portugal, and in Ireland. I don't see any risk for Portugal and Ireland. They are performing quite well. I do think that the money we are spending, although not one single cent has gone to Greece so far, is well-used money, because we are supporting Greece in its effort to restore competitiveness, to come back to growth, although growth impulses have to be added to this consolidation program of the public finances in Greece. I don't see that Greece would go for a default. What we did and what we are trying successfully to do at the beginning of this week was to do everything in order to avoid a disorderly default in Greece. A disorderly default of Greece would have entailed tragic consequences, not only for Greece, but for the whole euro area as such.
Prime Minister, opinion polls in Greece show that while 70% of Greeks would like to stay in the Eurozone, only half believe the country will actually do so. Do you think they will be able to stay in, Prime Minister?
You can never exclude a new crisis, although I do consider that being at the epicenter of a global threat, we are slowly regaining safe territory. But back in 2007, 2008, I would never have thought that we would have to face a crisis of the dimension of the crisis we had to fight against after the Lehman Brothers collapse. But I don't see in the short and medium term a crisis of that dimension reappearing, neither in the US nor at the euro area. I do think that by the end of the day, the euro area as such and the European Union as a whole will come out of this crisis in a better form than the form we entered it.
Prime Minister, thank you very much indeed. In a moment, Hina Rabbani Kar, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan. You'll enjoy meeting her then, after this break.